So we have three different options that are up here. We have one that is more scenario-based, one that is kind of sustainment or continuous learning, and then another one that's really more kind of creative hands-on as we go through it. So let's start with the top left there around non-discrimination and anti-harassment policy. That can be a bit of a yawner topic, but what we did is we really wanted to make sure that they could make it really so it affected their nervous system, so they could really tie it and bring it home. Asking them a very specific question around, if you experience this, if you see this, if this happens in the workplace, how are you going to react to it? So we want to make sure that they are doing the right things when they experience this. So we make sure that we can take the regulations that are there and really boil it down to a specific instance in which they could see this type of thing take place, and then what should they do to take action with it. So it's important that they can take theory that's out there or the rules and regulations that are kind of floating out there, and when you read them, they can be very nebulous. To boil them down into things that are really actionable to them, that are really something that makes sense to them, instead of saying, you know, here's an anti-corruption policy, and they're like, okay, well, I don't understand how I can be truly affected or how I'm going to see this in my daily work function. So it's important that you use those scenarios or those cases as part of what you do to really bring it down to an actionable item for them. The other is, if you look down to the middle there for the types of absences, typically what will happen when managers become managers is they get sheep-dipped or indoctrinated into all of the different policies and procedures and rules and regulations and everything that happens as they make their transition to management, if they're lucky, first off. But typically they won't run into that type of an issue, or very often run into that type of an issue. So it's important for them to be able to have a way that they can go and seek out the information and really get taught at the time of need. What we had done with the client for this is created a quick little 5 to 7 minute snippet, or walk them through the most critical components of the issue. For this one, it was their leave of absence work policy, and it was so that they could quickly kind of get through that program, be able to understand what the action that they needed to take, what their responsibility was, who they needed to engage, and then at the end have the different telephone numbers, email addresses, forms, and procedures that they would need to be able to help them be able to execute that process quickly and efficiently, and who to go to when they needed additional information. The last one over on the right-hand side, where it talks about safe and secure work environments, you see the copier's on fire, is we had to figure out a way to be able to help the learners be able to understand on safety and security issues, or for safety issues, if they were to experience a fire, how to work something as simple as a fire extinguisher. It's something that most of us have probably never used or haven't used in the past, and really be able to have it as part of this. There was two parts to this piece. One is how to evacuate the building, to find two ways out of the building. We had a little game that we put around that. And then secondly was around, if you experience this and you can, it's under a contained thing that you think you can put it out with a fire extinguisher, how do you work a fire extinguisher, and what's the right way to do it? So really being able to get those things down to a very actionable set of skills that they could leverage at any time.